The value of the informal is just that, where they can sort of loosen up, have a more casual conversation with their counterparts, and for them to feel the difference between that.
By bringing that in, if you guys all cooperate, it'll bring greater economic and political stability, in the region.
And if you guys can do that, we will provide, all intelligence necessary, security forces. I mean, we would love to be able to do that.
It's not always very straightforward, as you might expect. Like on paper, you can write out a solution and find out that, a different party is holding things back and not talking to you as much as you maybe thought they were.
But Bay Area is also telling Ankara to crack down on it. So how is that going to work?
Talking with one group about one thing, then going to the other group and trying to work a deal out. It's challenging, but it's also it makes you think harder and it makes you get creative.
We want to stop the entrance for 2 months and see whether that affects to our HIV percentage, okay?
Wouldn't the same be achieved if you put on medical checks on the border?
As students experience the formal versus the informal, they begin to realize that they have more leverage in an informal where they can make promises and they can build alliances. There's a more familiar setting with that. And that at the formal setting, that information doesn't always come out. So they begin to understand that there's subtleties involved in this process of diplomacy.
For me personally, informal, I try to listen a lot more. I could definitely focus more on just listening to what other people were saying and figure out how that brings me to the table and how I fit into their desires.
Before we back you guys, we need you guys to make child labor against the rules for any country that's in TRIPS.
It has a lot of value in getting kids to think about trade-offs and to getting them to thinking about what can I offer and what can I gain? And it's sort of those soft skills of interacting with their peers.
They also realize that in the informal, where certain information is shared, at the formal table, maybe that information doesn't come out, and that can be at their advantage.